Good morning, world. It's 2:50 in the morning. Hope you guys enjoyed my last video yesterday. Um, Ivan, you don't make videos in the evening anymore. Yeah, because I sleep in. I sleep in till like 6, 7, even 8, 9 o'clock sometimes at midnight, at night, obviously. Hence why I get my smokes and my beer. That's why, yeah. So if I make a second video, it'll either be in the evening or I'll make one like early in the morning, like what I'm doing now. I'll make a morning video, obviously. Because I sleep in and sometimes I get tired and I sleep until like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. Then I wake up and it's before you know it, I get my smokes and my beer, my smokes, and I run out of time, obviously. So would you rather have me make a short 30-minute video in the evening, or would you rather have me make a full video in the morning? I'd rather have the full video in the morning, yeah. That's why I'm making the video in the morning now, obviously. I just saw the movie called Prey. You guys know about that movie called Prey, the prequel Predators movie? It's pretty much a prequel to all the Predator movies that came out, obviously, in the 1700s. There's this woman, she's a hunter, and she finds out there's a predator, and she ends up, she what? She hunts the predator, obviously. The movie was okay. It wasn't that great. I mean, I think I'd rate it like a 5.9 out of 10. 5 point out of 10 movie. It was an okay movie. I like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator movie the best out of all the movies. That was about Predators with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 1987. That was a good movie. And the sequel with Donald Glover, that was okay. But the Prey movie was alright. I rated like a 5.8 out of 10. It was okay. It was a pretty good movie. Obviously. I recommend you guys check it out. You watch it on theaters, check out Prey. It's a pretty good movie. Yeah. There's a movie with Idris Elba called Beast where he fights a lion, obviously. He's surviving and he fights a lion. I think that movie looks pretty sick with Idris Elba. It's called Beast. The Beast or something like that. It's either called Beast or The Beast. And there's another good movie called The Woman King with John Boyega's in that movie. There's this woman, she's a king. She's a king woman, whatever it is. It looks pretty good. I'm going to watch that. I'm excited for Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever, John Wick 4, and like Avatar 2. Those are like my three movies. And Batman, but I already saw Batman, obviously. I'm excited for those three movies the most this year. And Black Adam, I'm pretty hyped to see that with Dwayne Johnson. It looks pretty good. That's pretty much it. There's not many other movies I'm really excited to watch this year. Obviously. Yeah. Obviously, right? I'm gonna keep saying this, world. You better fucking enjoy this stupid series. Why you so can? Because once I'm king, I'm taking off to the throne with VJ, and I'm gonna live that billionaire life with my wife, and you're left behind. You will not be saved. Obviously, I'm going to live the life with VJ, and I'm gonna be. Me and her are gonna live the life in our personal life and our business life. We're gonna be famous movie stars. We're gonna be living the life with our personal life. Build that $300 million rooftop condo like Incredibles. I'm thinking of either building the condo in my land or building it in downtown. If I build on my land, it'll be a bit boring for me, VJ. It's a little boring. I'd rather build my condo downtown. I don't want to build a property in my land. Obviously, I thought of building my condo on an island, and they built like this bridge, and you have a train that goes to the bridge that takes me immediately to the condo, obviously, something like that. But no, I want to build my condo downtown Vancouver, on top of the roof. That's my dream home. And I'll put $300 million towards it, even a bit more. I can put even 320, 330, around that 300, 320 range. I'm gonna put towards my condo. I will pimp it out fully. Something like Incredibles, man. Something top notch. And those actors, Rosanians, are gonna get to party up in my $300 million rooftop condo. Yeah, man. And the more interesting one, they're gonna get to party up in my yacht, my $50 million yacht. I can even get a more expensive yacht. I can get a $60 million yacht even. But like, I'm gonna go around that range, 50, 55, $60 million range. A yacht that fits a good 20, 25 people in there. Not a mega yacht. Not a mega 100, 200 yacht. No. You're wasting money. A good 50, 55. Even if it's a nice yacht and it's 60 million, I'll buy it. It's a good yacht to buy. Obviously. Get a nice like 50, 60 million yacht. That's where I'm going to do the table reads with the actors. And that's where I'm going to do my parties in my yacht. What's cooler, the yacht or the condo? The condo is nice, but man, partying up on a yacht is cooler, man. Like someone driving in the ocean, you know what I'm saying? In the ocean, in the middle of at nighttime, and you party up on a yacht. That's fucking cool. Partying up a yacht's more cooler than partying up in a condo. Even though my condo is more high end, top notch quality than my yacht, it's cool partying up in a fucking yacht, man. The actors for Zane's gonna get to party up my yacht. Fucking nice yacht, man. Yeah, man. The crewman for Lord of the Rings is gonna get to party up my yacht. Most of them, right? Because by the time I fly into crewman, it'll be like spring, summertime. So most of those guys are gonna be partying up in my yacht, yeah, or the lounge. I'll book a lounge or party up in the lounge. Yeah, man, Lord of the Rings crewmen who I'm choosing for Xana's are gonna get the part on my yacht. I take them out to a nice dinner. They signed a massive deal. They signed a nice 6-figure contract, obviously, and I take them out to a nice dinner. And after that, I party up in my yacht. The crewmen, I'm not partying up in my condo. I don't want to be partying up in my condo every day for 1 year. No, man. My condo is personal for me and my wife, obviously. I'll have parties in my condo. Well, I don't want to party up there every day for like 7 months straight. No. You know what I'm saying? The condo is meant for me, VJ, but I'm going to party up with the act. Because the actors are my stars, they get to party up in my condo. Only the major ones. Because the minor ones, I'll book a lounge for them. So all the actor Philithius and Baramis, I'll have them flown in with the other. They're pretty much major characters, but they're pretty major. Those actors I can party up in my condo, obviously. But all the minor ones like Darius, Bo, Ephesus, Bass, Mass, Elizabeth, and all those actors, and the Crows and the Eagle actors, those guys I'll party up in a lounge. I'll have my team book a lounge for a couple hours, 4 hours. I party up in a lounge with them. And then my major stars party up in my condo. Or I can have all my actors party up in my condo. It's not a big deal. Yeah, the minor characters I'll have them party up in my condo too. Considering that they're also your stars too. They're not major stars, but they're your stars. You can have them party up in your condo too. But for the crewmen, I'm gonna party up in the lounge or my yacht. Because I don't want to be partying up my condo every day for fucking 7 months straight. No, man. Party up in my yacht or party up in my condo. Or the lounge. I'm only hiring Lord of the Rings crewmen who work in Hollywood. C-list people are out. So all you guys in Darcy who want to work with me so bad, and I'm saying you guys are not allowed to work for my company. You see what I'm saying? All the C-list people around the world are not allowed to work for my company. Only Hollywood crewmen are allowed to work for my company. C-list people are out. Because if you want to get the best quality of your movie, you hire the crewmen who work in Hollywood. It's common sense, duh. You hire the best crewmen who work in Hollywood. Whereas C-list crewmen are out. C-list actors are out. I'm not hiring C-list actors. I'm only hiring Hollywood actors. If you want your company to be on par with Hollywood, you have to hire the best of the best. Hire the Hollywood actors. That way you get a good movie. You get a better movie, obviously. The C-list actors, no offense, are not the greatest actors. They're not the greatest actors, you know what I'm saying? C-list actors are not the greatest actors. They're pretty good, but when you watch it compared to Hollywood, you see a clear difference in quality. They're not as good actors. Yeah, hence why I'm not hiring C-list actors. Obviously. And I'm not hiring C-list crewmen. I'm only hiring Hollywood crewmen. And those people, I remember when I did a short film for Algonquin, I had a pretty major role. I talked about this in my final announcement video, right? Those guys never sent me the reel. I never got the reel. Yeah, you get what you deserve. You guys are not allowed to work for my company. I'm only hiring Hollywood actors. You get what you Hollywood crewmen. You get what you deserve, man. I'm not hiring these C-list crewmen who work. Yeah, you get what you deserve. So you guys, you know who you are. I remember what you did to me. You never sent me the reel. Okay, if you want to be a dick like that, you're also not allowed to work for my company either. And you're white. You'll be left behind. You won't be safe. You get what you deserve, man. Yeah, man. You get what you deserve. Obviously. So I'm going to keep talking about Xana's here. Because I love talking about Xana's. I even want to talk about Skyscrapers because I want to talk about Zanus. But I will talk about Skyscrapers, but like I'm going to talk about my Zanus project, right? So I'm still talking a little bit about Skyscrapers, right? So my two top candidates for my directors and executive producer and co-writers are Peter Jackson and Mel Gibson. Who choose? I don't know. Something tells me I might choose Peter, but something tells me I might also choose Mel Gibson. You never know, man. He's in there. But something tells me I might lean towards Peter Jackson because he did Lord of the Rings, which is a fancy world. I have a lot of good ideas for my movie. We'll have a lot of good ideas for my movie. You see what I'm saying? So Peter Jackson want to pay him his 85 million, and Mel Gibson I want to pay him his 56 million, and I'll give Peter 0.6% of the profits for the movie. And $2 million re-release. $2,000 gift card, $300 gas card, $6,000 worth of commercial money. Mel Gibson, I'm willing to pay him $56 million, and I'll give him 0.5% of the profits. $2,000 gift card, $300 gas card, $60,000 worth of commercial money for Mel Gibson. That's a good paycheck for him, and $2 million for the release too. Obviously, Peter Jackson signed like his $30 million deal. 400 million, 430, 380, 350, 360 million deal Peter Jackson signed. More than what he made for Lord of the Rings. I heard for Lord of the Rings he made 250 million. 180 to 250 million I heard Peter Jackson made for the 3 movies of Lord of the Rings. Because I read the book yesterday and it said Peter Jackson was he made $250 million. But I heard Warner Bros. New Line, they ripped Peter Jackson off. I heard they owed him money and Peter Jackson took them to court. He sued them obviously. He's like, yeah, I want you guys to audit your files. I want to see if you ripped me off or not. And they're like, well, we already paid Peter his $180 million. That's more than enough. And it doesn't matter how much money got paid. What matters is what deal did Peter Jackson sign. If they owe him money, they owe him money, obviously. Now, that's how you know the Hollywood CEOs are assholes, man. The fact that Peter took New Line to court because he thought they ripped him off with his royalties, obviously. The response was, yeah, we paid Peter $250 million in royalties or 180. I don't know how much he made. On Google it says Peter made 180. In the book it says he made 250 million. So I don't know. I'm probably going to go with the book, right? Peter supposedly made $250 million for the 3 movies of Lord of the Rings, and I supposedly New Line owed him a bit more money. And Peter wanted to audit the files, and he took New Line to court, obviously, and they settled the differences. That's how you know Peter is a greedy shark, obviously, and that's how you know New Line, Hollywood CEOs are some of the Hollywood CEOs are fucking assholes. The fact that they did that to Peter, and Peter took them to court, that's how you know you can't really trust. You have to be careful. These CEOs can even dupe. The fact that these CEOs dupe Peter are not, by supposedly withholding money from him, obviously, tells you what. Yeah, you gotta be careful about these contracts and all that stuff. Yeah, man, people can dupe you, man. Whereas I'm not like that. Like, you don't have to worry about me ripping you off. I'm man, my word. Like, whatever deals Peter Jackson signed, whatever money I owe him, he will get his money, obviously. You see what I'm saying? So Peter won't have to worry about suing me or VJ because I'm gonna make sure he gets his money that he signed, obviously, as well as all the actors, Hollywood actors. You see what I'm saying? Be clean, man. Don't be dirty, man. Whereas Hollywood, it's all fucking dirty. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a dirty slave. Some of the CEOs can even dupe actors and rip them off, and directors. Yeah, man. The fact that Peter took New Line to court, that tells you kind of some of the CEOs in Hollywood are assholes. Yeah, we paid Peter his $250 million or $180 million, whatever it is. That's more than enough. Yeah, you pay him a lot of money, but what deal did he sign? If you owe him 2%, he deserves his full 2%. And then Peter took New Line to court, obviously. He sued them, obviously. Because the CEOs in Hollywood are obviously... Peter's obviously greedy because he got like his hundreds of millions. He got, like, I don't know, it was $200 million for the movie, obviously. But at the end of the day, he signed a contract. If they owe him something, they have to pay him the money, obviously. And supposedly New Line withheld some of the money from Peter. Yeah, Peter already made more than enough. We're not going to pay him any more money. And Peter's like, I want to see your files. I want to audit your financial statements and all that stuff. And then New Line didn't want to do that. That's how you know New Line was hiding something, and Peter took him to court. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if they paid Peter the money he was owed or they settled their differences. I don't know. But all I know is that Peter took New Line to court. Obviously. So think about this. Sean Austin complained about his $50,000 shitty paycheck. The CEOs at New Line told Elijah Wood they could have paid him double what he made. And yet they're like, yeah, you have a crappy agent. And at the same time, Peter took New Line to court. That's how you know what. You got to be careful about what the sharks in Hollywood and all. And so do not let these people do. Hence why it's very important when these actors and Peter Jackson sign a contract that you're very specific with the contract that they signed. Obviously. Whenever Peter Jackson signed that contract, okay, Peter, you're going to get 0.6% of all the film profits, not the gross. If you do the gross, Peter's going to end up making like $1 billion, man. $1 billion, $2 or something crazy, man. No. You get 0.6% of the film profits. The actors get a percentage of the film profits, not the gross. Otherwise, they're going to strike it so rich and they're not ripping you off. No. They get, and Amazon will get pissed off because you're why Amazon will get pissed off too. See what I'm saying? Huh? Yeah. The actors get a percentage of the film profits, of all the film profits. You get your 0.01, 0.02 of all the film profits. Write down the contract. Film profits. Don't say net or gross. No, just say film profits. As long as you say film profits, you don't have to worry about the actors duping or anything. Whatever the profit margin that me and VJ, the profits that me and VJ make, the actors get a percentage of that, of the profits. Peter gets a percentage of the profits. That's what he does now. Because I know my movies will make tens of billions in profit, I don't have to worry about my movie losing money. Peter will make his money, obviously. I don't have to worry about Peter taking me to court because I'll pay him what I owe him, obviously. Because I'm not dirty. I'm fucking clean. I'm a clean businessman. I have a good heart. I'm not going to rip any of these actors off. The amount of money that me and VJ make, you pay the actors what the deal that they signed, obviously. Yeah. But my deal for Peter Jackson, Mel Gibson, and all the actors is they get a percentage of the film profits for the initial release. That's my deal. Don't do 0.6% of all of the film profits forever. No, or for all the releases. No, do 0.6% of the profits for the initial release. Obviously, because there's a good chance maybe the following year some people are good, like maybe 2 million people might buy more 4K Blu-ray movies. I don't know, maybe some of their movie broke or something like that. It's not working. They might buy more. Whenever me and VJ get our royalty checks for that, the actors don't get a piece of that. It's only for the initial release. I'm going to tell you, hey, make sure you type in the initial release. Once me and VJ collected our full money for the initial release, that's what the actors get. Whereas the following year, if a couple like $300,000 people buy a movie, the actors and Peter Jackson don't get a dime off that. It's only for the initial release. That way they don't rip you off, man. And then for the re-release, for the special edition or extended edition, the actors get the $2,000-$3,000 royalty check, and Peter gets his $2 million, and Mel Gibson gets his $2 million. That way they don't rip you off. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful. The fact that Peter took New Line to court, that's how you know Peter is obviously a greedy shark. Obviously, he made his hundreds of millions, and he still took him to court. But yeah, it's not his fault. If he's owed the money, he's owed the money, obviously. But that's how you know these Hollywood CEOs, some of them are assholes and some of them are sharks. You gotta be careful about the sharks, man. So I'm gonna tell my legal advisor, okay, type in the actors get a percentage of the profits for the percentage of the film profits. Of all the film profits. They don't get a percentage of the merch, only the film profits and the initial release. The initial release of the movie. That's it. Whereas if a good 2 years, you know what I'm saying, more people buy a movie, the actors don't get a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? They only get a piece of the initial release of the movie. Write that down in the contract. That way, Peter and them don't dupe you. Yeah, Ivan, you release your movies. Are we gonna get a piece? I'm like, no. The contract was you get 0.6% of the film profits for the initial release. Obviously. There's a high chance, I guarantee you, when I release my movie, Peter Jackson's agent or Mel Gibson's agent, the actor's agents are gonna, on my 7 team, are gonna bother me. Ivan, we didn't get our money yet. I'm like, guys, Relax. You're gonna get your money. You need to wait until me and VJ collected our full royalty checks. Give us a good 2 to 3 months when me and VJ start receiving our royalty checks. That's when you guys will get your check. So me and VJ collect our $55 billion check for the movie, obviously, and I'll call up my accountant. I'll meet him in the boardroom, obviously. Okay, get a calculator, get all the contract forms that all the 15 actors signed, and you yourself and the other members of my 7 team and Peter Jackson signed, or Mel Gibson, and then start calculating. Okay, Ivan, how much money did you make? I don't know. We made $55 billion. He's like, holy shit. You made $55 billion. He's like, holy shit, man. You VJ are fucking. I VJ are loaded. Yeah. Okay, take John Boyega's contract. Obviously. Okay, Ivan, you made $55 million. Yeah, okay. John Boyega gets $5.5 million in royalties. And he types in $5.5 million for John Boyega on a sheet of paper. Okay, write down all the amounts on a sheet of paper, and once you're done that, you can start punching in all their royalty checks in an advanced payment system, and the actors get their email confirmation and they get their money in their account. Hey, John Boyega's owed $5.56 million, and you give him $6 million in royalties. Yvonne Jody's owed $6 million in royalties. Carl Urban's owed $6 million in royalties, which is, I don't know, $8 million in his own money, because he lives in New Zealand, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Viggo Mortensen's owed $9.9 million in royalties. $9 million in royalties, $9.8 million in royalties. Viggo Mortensen's owed. Don Cheadle's owed $9.8 million. Ariana Grande's owed $18 million in royalties, and he punches in all the amounts. Zoe King is owed $6 million in royalties. You see what I'm saying? That way, what? Yeah, because okay, guys, you have to wait until me and VJ receive our full royalty amount. That way, we can accurately calculate how much the actors are supposed to be paid. How much the actors are paid for their royalties. Because I don't want to rip the actors off. I don't want to pay them less. And I don't want to pay them more. Hence why you guys, you have to wait until me and VJ receive our full amount. You know, once the accountant will ask, okay, Ivan, how much did you guys make off your movie? Off your Blu-ray, off the box office? I don't know. Me and VJ made $55 billion, and he calculates the money, and then okay, we calculate Peter Jackson's royalty amount, and it comes to $300 million. $290 million, Peter Jackson's royalties. And you punch in the $290 million and it goes to Peter Jackson. I don't know, Peter Jackson's owed $300 million. And you punch in $300 million and Peter Jackson gets his confirmation and he gets $300 million. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah, be clean. Don't be dirty. Do not rip the actors off, and don't let the actors rip you off. And don't rip the actors off. Pay them when if his actor signs a contract, pay him what he's owed, man. Don't be dirty and try to hide try to hide account statements and all that stuff, and then the actors end up taking you to court. Don't do that. No, if the actor signs a contract, pay him what you owe him, obviously. The way you're clean and not dirty like New Line. The fact that Peter took New Line to court, that's how you know the New Line CEOs are assholes. Peter Jackson was owed money. They didn't pay him the money. Look, man, even though you paid Peter his hundreds of millions of dollars, I don't know, it was $180, $250 million, he signed a contract, he's entitled to that money, man. And then New Line tried to hide it. Oh, Peter Jackson made enough money. That's not the point. It doesn't matter how much money he made. What matters is what he negotiated for his contract. If he negotiated a certain amount of money for his contract, Peter Jackson deserves the money. The actor deserves the money. And if you can pay an actor more money, pay him more money. Don't be cheap and pay him shitty money. Otherwise, the actors won't work as hard for you, obviously. As a fact of that CEO said to Elijah Wood, that's how you know some of the Hollywood CEOs are assholes. As I would never tell an actor that. You don't fucking tell an actor I could have paid you more money and you have a crappy agent. Don't do that, man. It was bad that Peter Jackson had to stand up for Elijah Wood. You have to stand up for Elijah Wood, obviously. He's like, look, man, like, don't tell Elijah Wood that you could have paid more money. Don't tell your fucking star that, man. Otherwise, he'll get angry and he might not work as hard for you. Yeah. Never tell one of your stars that you could have paid them more money. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't keep it to yourself. Don't tell an actor that. The fact that CEO of New Line told Elijah Wood that, that's how you know some of the Hollywood CEOs could be dicks sometimes. They're assholes sometimes. Yeah, some of them are assholes. I'm saying, yeah. Don't tell your fucking star that you could have paid him more money. Samwise Gamgee, Sean Astin complained about his shitty $2,000 check, and he still works his ass off. I can only imagine how much harder these A actors are going to work for me. Because I paid them their fucking what? I paid them their fucking rich millions. Obviously. So I'm gonna let all you actors know in advance for Zanus. You guys already know who you are. You know who's chosen, obviously. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I know you guys are crazy and your agent's going to constantly bother me. The actors didn't get our check, and I'm like, guys, I'm a man of my word. Wait until me and Vijay get our full check. You know what I'm saying? And once we get our full check, I'll call my accountant and we'll go to the board and we're gonna calculate all the amount of money that the actors are supposed to be paid. You guys will get your check. You're going to get your nice 6, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 million check. Obviously. You see what I'm saying? So my deal for Peter Jackson, I'll pay him his $85 million, which is $106 million in Canadian New Zealand money. That's a good paycheck for him. He gets his $2,000 gift card and his $3,500 gas card and $60,000 worth of commercial money and the perks. Staying at Suites the first year and the second year, like for a month, and I'll have him flown to Switzerland to oversee the stuff in Switzerland, obviously, building all the sets. So I can have Peter stay. I can have Peter constantly jump back and forth, overseeing something. So, okay, I want you overseeing Weta Digital creating costumes, the armor and weapons, and the people creating the masks, the people creating the costumes in the building in the city. You can have Peter stay in a hotel. Have him stay in a cheaper hotel for that, a $200 a night hotel. You got to watch for your budget. And have him, Guillermo Toro, Barry Osborne, and Fran oversee the business and oversees the business. Obviously, the second year with some of the stuff going on in Switzerland, obviously. And at the same time, I'll have helicopters for Peter and them to take Peter to the wilderness to oversee the people building the sets on location. And then there you have Peter sleep in trailers. So whenever Peter oversees Weta Digital creating costumes, armor, and weapons, and whenever Peter Jackson oversees the people creating the costumes, armor, and weapons, and the masks, will be in the city, obviously. You'd have him stay in a $200 a night hotel. And whenever he's in the middle of nowhere overseeing the people overseeing the sets, you have him sleep in a trailer. Obviously. I can fly a few chefs to Switzerland for the second year too. I can fly in maybe like 5 chefs, 6, 7 chefs, 8 chefs to work. I don't know, 10 chefs to work in Switzerland the second year. You could do that if you want to. And have one head chef and like eight assistants help him out, cook all the food for the crewmen in the middle of nowhere. And then when Peter Jackson stays in a hotel, you can have feeding services at the hotel for Peter and all them for breakfast in the hotel. Obviously. So Peter Jackson will constantly be jumping back and forth. He'll be in the city, overseeing the costumes, armor, and weapons, and the shooting for the mass in the city in some building, obviously. And at the same time, I'll have a helicopter take him to the wilderness in Switzerland to oversee the people building the sets on location. You can have chefs cook food for the honor. I'll have maybe 300 crewmen flown, 250 crewmen flown to the second year to oversee all that. Peter's also going to have to oversee the extras, have him keep track of that. The business stuff, obviously. Peter, Guillermo Toro, Fran, Osborne, you can have those guys oversee. Hey, Peter, it doesn't hurt to keep track on what's going on with the extras too for the signups. Well, no, the signups will only take like a couple weeks, so Peter Jackson won't have to worry about that. But like, because I'm only going to have the people who are seeing the actors stay in Switzerland for a couple weeks, 3 weeks with the signups, and that's it. 2.5, 3 weeks, and I'll send them back home. People have seen the actors, but the people, the construction crewmen who are building all the sets in some of the sets, obviously, the second year, and the Weta Workshop creating the costumes and the weapons and armor, and the people who are creating the clothing designers who are creating the costumes, and the people who are creating the masks, who can have Peter them oversee some of that the second year. Put them to work. I don't pay a lot of money for nothing. Obviously. For the movie, obviously. So that's my number for Peter. So Peter signed his massive $430 million deal. More money than one even made for Lord of the Rings. For Lord of the Rings, I heard he made $180 to $250 million. On Google, it says Peter made $180 million. In the book, it said he made 250. The guy said he paid Peter $250 million. So I don't know which is accurate. My guess is the book is more accurate, right? Because the guy knows Peter, right? Peter made $250 million for the three movies of Lord of the Rings. Still not the kind of money I'm paying him for saying this. I'm paying him more money, almost double than what he made for Lord of the Rings. He's gonna make like his $400 million. Like he's gonna make a $150 million more than what he made for Lord of the Rings. Peter, almost double what he made. And so work hard for me, obviously. And don't forget, Peter was a dirty slave in Hollywood. For Peter to make that $250, $180 million, he had to pay a price for that, man. He had to smash a lot of people while he was filming. Whereas for my company, he's free and he doesn't have to do anything. He's free. Obviously. See what I'm saying? Peter Jackson is free. He doesn't have to worry about being a dirty slave and all that stuff. He's free. And that's why he'll work hard for him. And I gave him an unlimited budget. I didn't give him a shitty $90 million budget. But I heard for the three movies of Lord of the Rings with marketing costs, it cost him $555 million. If you include marketing costs. Because don't forget, you have the budget and you also have marketing costs. Obviously, it cost New Line a good $555 million for the three movies, including marketing. They spent a good like $200 million in marketing. $250 million in marketing for Lord of the Rings. Because back then, there was no social media, man. Back then, back in 2001, 2002, remember those days? Remember, all you guys are my age, remember that time? Yeah, I remember that time. Yeah, there was no YouTube back then. There was no social media back then. It was all, people had to watch stuff on the trailers on TV and previews at the theaters. As well as, there were sites where you were able to watch trailers back then. I remember back when Narnia came out in 2005 when there was no YouTube. I remember I went on Google. I used to see there was a site for trailers. And I saw all the Narnia trailers there. So back then you had sites that streamed trailers, obviously, and you also had movie trailers stream on TV, as well as the previews at the theaters. Hence why back then marketing cost was very, very high. Whereas nowadays, studios don't have to spend as much money on marketing. Because now you have YouTube. You have YouTube now. You see what I'm saying? You can just play the trailer. You can just post a trailer on YouTube. And you can get 50, 100 million, 100 million, 200 million views. You see what I'm saying? Nowadays, they do spend, they still... Nowadays, Hollywood studios still spend a lot of money on marketing, but the cost is not as high as it was back then. Because back then there was no social media. Back in 2001, 2002, there was no social media. You have to rely on the trailers on TV, the previews at the theaters, and like sites that stream trailers. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas me and VJ, we don't have to worry about marketing costs because we have the keys. And so I don't have to spend a dime on marketing at all. Whereas New Line had to spend a good like $250 million in marketing costs for the three Lord of the Rings movies. They spent a lot of money on marketing costs for the three Lord of the Rings movies, and it paid off, obviously. Sherman Cavier.